So then Gunther and Gable. I'm enjoying the program, even with the peripheral effluvia of the Otis and Model Girl and the whole 9 yards. Because again, if they only hadn't done all these things they've done with poor Gable, he's a talented kid. But to wait for the Intercontinental title match with Gunther and Gable, we were 50 minutes into the program, and they had a wrestling match. And again, Gunther takes control, but Gable is good at staying alive and working from underneath. And he would start reversing and riding, and, you know, he's got the wrestling background, but then Gunther might cut him off with a fucking chop. But Gable was having really nice flurries in this. And I mean, I wrote some play-by-play, but it was a nice match. It made sense. They sold what they needed to sell. Gunther is a physically dominant, but Gable is a feisty underdog, and they're both, you know, able to do things in their own way. Great shit. Finally, at one point, Gable hit the fucking German, which was insane. They got the "This is awesome" chance. Chad went for the moonsault. Gunther pushed him off onto the barricade. Nice bump. Beat him up on the floor, but then Gunther misses a chop and hits the post. Gable shoves him face first into the post and hits him with a German and dumps him over the railing. Rolls back into the ring, and Gunther is counted out. He can't get back in time. Gable wins, but it's by count out when he put too much space in between Gunther and the ring. Perfect finish. Everybody gets what they need. I love this shit. Gunther is my favorite wrestler in the world right now. Everything he does is good.
His reaction to the finish was great too.
Yes, because he sells what's going on around him, and he pitched a fucking fit. Because if the heel gets beaten, especially by an underdog or by a smaller guy, or, you know, or by his nemesis or whoever, and he's not pissed off and upset, why should the fans be happy about it? And again, you know, Gunther, he's got that fucking, you know, he's got a nerdish face on that great Gene Kiniski physique, to where he looks like if you know, the first Darren from Bewitched was a goddamn, you know, Nazi concentration camp fucking general or whatever.
What do you do with Gable now?
Well, see, that's now.
Is this enough to break him away from it? Do they keep using some of the silly stuff? Or are they doing this to get him away from that? What do you think?
I'm afraid they're not, because that would be admitting that they sabotaged the kid with all the silly stuff. And I'm sure the writers also will not be able to resist him going shush or thank you or whatever to pop the people now that the people like him. But maybe then why wouldn't Gunther come out now and say, you know what? I'll beat you. I'll not only beat you, I'll beat you twice. I'll beat you fucking twice. And then in some fashion or form, could potentially Chad slip up and fucking, he gets beat once, but he manages to last the time to where Gunther doesn't win again, because he didn't beat him twice in the appointed time or whatever. There's ways that you can get the underdog over when you're admitting he's an underdog and he's going in at a disadvantage, or the other guy deserves it or whatever, where even if Gunther says, I'm going to beat him twice in 15 minutes, well, he beats him at 12 minutes and they can't beat him again for 3 minutes because the people are cheering the last 45 seconds when Gable's running away from him and Gunther's blowing up trying to catch him. And then you raise Gable's hand and makes him even madder. Well, I beat him, but you didn't beat him twice like you said you were going to beat him. Whatever the fuck. You can keep juicing that up if you want to. It's certainly better than what Gable was doing with all the other shit that he was involved in.
Hey, beyond that, And you've always been a fan of Gunther. Is this Gunther's best feud so far as Intercontinental Champion?
Possibly, because, he's been dominant and nobody's really tested him, and that's a good thing. I mean, nobody's tested him as far as it hasn't taken him 5 of his power bombs to beat anybody. But the people that he's been working with have not necessarily either been the most beloved individuals in the company, or like an LA Knight or a fucking Gable, where the people have decided we like this fucking guy. We're gonna elevate him in terms of reaction past the level that he's been pushed at. And if they really like Gable, then it's going to put more heat on fucking Gunther when he fucks him around in various ways. But they're going to cheer for Gable to come back and get a little something. And Gunther is smart enough, when he gives people a little something, that's what he gives them. He gives them a little something so he doesn't kill them or make them look like putzes, but he doesn't fly around the fucking room for everybody, because he shouldn't.
And again, despite the gimmick, despite comedy segments or catchphrases, you watch this match, you watch the way they were sweating. This was like watching a great wrestling match. That's what this was. In the ring, there was none of that comedy.
So we've got some hope there. But then we're going to come back to reality. So